This is Coach Carlo. Hopefully this video is going to come out. I'm trying a Facebook Live, but I'm doing it in a horizontal mode, so I'm not sure how this is going to work. I did some research, and I'm hoping that I figured out how to do it, but we'll see how this turns out. If it turns out sideways, then what I'll do is I edit it and reload it back up to Facebook. But hopefully everything works out fine. Listen, I'm going to talk to you about something kind of bizarre, something kind of weird. And this is based off of quantum physics, and then we'll talk also about a Neville principle that we can use to begin changing reality. My wife and I went on to a mini trip to see family members, and on the way back, after cleaning the vehicle, the rental vehicle out, we realized that she couldn't find her glasses. Now, prior to returning the rental vehicle, I checked high and low, making sure that there was nothing left, within the vehicle. But also prior to leaving the hotel, I also checked high and low to make sure that we left nothing, because a lot of times we'll leave things behind. So I'll go back and do a check and just make sure that we didn't forget anything. So she had these glasses that she liked a lot, and she didn't want to part with them. And so what I did first thing in the morning was call the rental car company, because I dropped the vehicle off the night before, and said, please check and make sure that there's no items left in the vehicle, because we're looking for some sunglasses. Now, a few moments later, probably about 15 minutes later, a young lady called me back, and she says, we did find some glasses, Mr. Eskridge, and I said, well, listen, hold the glasses, and I'll be there to pick them up. Now, some say, well, what is this story about? What I'm going to suggest to some of you is going to sound far-fetched, but many of us think that reality's fixed. And because we believe that reality is fixed, we think that we lay something down, and once we lay it down, then it should be exactly where it was that we laid it down. And if not, then we say, who moved it? Did I misplace it? Whatever. I'm going to suggest that things are constantly, based off the teachings of quantum mechanics, are constantly popping in and out of your reality. Now, you leave a room, you assume that when you leave that room is exactly like you left it. You go back to the room and your lamp is in place, your computer is in place, and to you, that room is exactly like you left it. But what if you imagined that room being different? You stepped into the room and you realized that, oh no, I had this over here and this was over here. I talked to somebody recently, and they were talking to someone they knew who said that they manifested a washer that she didn't have before. And all of a sudden, in the place of this empty space was all of a sudden a washer. Now, some will say, oh, no, she just forgot that the washer was there, or she purchased it, or whatever. And I would have said likewise. Matter of fact, a couple of years ago, I had a conversation with a friend, and she said she was at a store and she needed a particular type of battery. Her granddaughter had just gotten this new toy, so she was there to pick up this particular type of battery. In picking up this particular type of battery, the store didn't have the battery. She looked high and low. She looked through the whole rack. She went through it a couple of times. Even a store manager came over to help her look for this battery, and they didn't have it. She began to see it being possible that the battery was there. So she went back over and she looked for the battery, and lo and behold, the battery was there. And she told me this story. Now, of course, like many of you, I said, no, you just overlooked it. You and the store manager overlooked the battery. So we had our conversation about that. I'm like, yeah, she just overlooked the battery. Some of you say, well, DeCarlo, you just overlooked the glasses. I'm going to suggest that as you watch your manifestations, as you watch your reality, you're going to lay some things down. And when you go back to where you laid the items down, they're going to no longer be at that place, but you're going to find that they materialize elsewhere. Somebody's going to say, you just forgot that you put it there. What I'm going to suggest to you that things are constantly popping in and out of reality. So the same person that found the batteries, one day she wanted to have a certain type of meal. She went to her freezer, and what she was looking for wasn't there. And so she was frustrated because she really didn't want to go back to the store because she had just left the store. So she said, you know what, let me go and take another look. And all of a sudden, She had, like I said, ransacked the freezer before and the item wasn't there. She went back and the item was there. Again, my goal was to talk her out and say, you're not thinking rationally. Know that the item was there, you just overlooked it. And many of you are going to say the exact same thing. What I want to suggest to you is many times what you believe is fixed is being materialized in different places all the time. This thing we call reality is not solid. And if you look at it from a quantum mechanics, quantum theory, they say that things are popping in and at a subatomic level all the time. Now you say, well, DeCarlo, well, how does this apply to me in manifesting? If you understand that things are not fixed, somebody said, well, how can I manifest money out of thin air? We do it all the time. We grab that pair of jeans and all of a sudden we find $50 in a pair of jeans that wasn't there before. Or you go and you're washing clothes and all of a sudden $20 floats at the top of the dryer because, of course, money just materialized. Or an opportunity or somebody gives you a blessing seemingly out of nowhere and you're like, where did this money come from? Or that you spent a certain amount of money, that budget is tight, but all of a sudden you got extra money in your account and you're like, where did this extra money come from? Say that we're talking about health, for example. We can recreate ourselves, and I say we, naturally the body recreates itself, they say about every 11 months. So why is it that somebody that's, let's say, dealing with an illness keeps recreating the illness? And many times it's because we keep braining our past and projecting it into the future. As Mr. Linder will often say, we're always thinking ahead of our evidence. But what if we use the Neville technique and we say, I remember when? I remember when I used to feel so bad, and I couldn't get up. Now, I'm feeling excited. I'm rejuvenated. I got all this energy. I remember when I was broke and I never did have enough money. Now I got more than enough money to go around. I remember when I couldn't find a good relationship. When you begin operating from I remember when, you begin to change the dynamics of what it is you're seeing on the outward, or what we call reality. Mr. Linder liked to call it virtual reality. When you begin to change your conversation about what it is that you see in your reality will also change. Now, you can't do this just a couple of times. It has to become your mindset. When you begin fixing your mind, let's say, on health, when you begin fixing your mind on abundance, you begin living from a place of abundance, not somebody hoping to become abundant, not someone hoping to become healthy, not somebody hoping to become in a healthy relationship. You begin operating from a place of love, abundance, health. You live from that. And because you're living from that, you become a magnet to attract that thing that you desire. So we're constantly seeing things pop in and out of reality. And we say, oh, I must have just misplaced that, or I forgot it, laid it there. I'm going to suggest that the reality that you see isn't fixed. And because it isn't fixed, you can create for yourself a different reality. You just have to clothe yourself in, and you will do it to such an extent, you will forget about the old you, the body of Moses. Often we want to go back to the law, and the promise is, let the weak say that I am strong. When you begin saying and operating and living from that mindset of strength, from abundance, from love, not hoping so, not wishing so, and say, oh, coach, I tried this and it didn't work out, then you're not still abiding in. You keep living it out till it becomes your lifestyle. And as that becomes your new way of thinking, you forget about the old man, you forget about the old state, and it's something that pretty soon you won't even remember when, because that's no longer going to be your reality. This is Coach DeCarlo saying have a great and abundant day.